So, you've just had a tooth removed. Maybe it's a wisdom tooth, maybe it was infected, maybe it was just time. Either way, the procedure's done, and now you're sitting at home wondering what's next. And someone, maybe your dentist, maybe a friend, mentions dry socket. And you don't know what it is exactly, but you've heard two things. One is that it hurts, and the second thing is you want to avoid it. And both are true. So, dry socket is one of the most painful and most common complications after a tooth extraction. And as a dentist, I see it more often than I should. And that's not because the procedure went wrong, but because of what happens after. But the good news is, it's also one of the easiest complications to avoid if you understand what causes it and also how to prevent it. And that's what this video is for. In this video, I'll show you what dry socket is, why it happens, and what you can do starting today to avoid it completely. Because this isn't about avoiding the pain, it isn't about healing faster, it's about making sure you have a smooth recovery with no setbacks, no delays, and no unnecessary complications. So, if you're in recovery mode and you want to make sure everything heals the way it should, here's what you need to know. But first, let's start with the basics. So, what is a dry socket and why does it happen? Because once you understand that, everything else will make sense. So, when a tooth is removed, your body tries to immediately protect the exposed area. And the way it does that is by forming a blood clot inside the socket. Now, the clot acts like a natural bandage. So it covers the bone underneath, it protects the nerves, and it starts the healing process. But here's the problem. If that clot gets dislodged too early or if it never forms properly at all, then the socket is left open, raw, exposed, and vulnerable. And that's what we call a dry socket. So without a clot, the bone and nerve endings are just sitting there open to things like air, bacteria, food debris, and pretty much anything that goes into your mouth. So it's not an infection, but it can become extremely painful because bone is not meant to be exposed to the outside world. And the good news is, once you know what causes it, you can do a lot to prevent it because most cases don't happen randomly. They happen because of specific things people do without realizing the impact. And that's what we'll go into next, what to do and what not to do, and if you want that clot to stay where it should. All right, now that you know what dry socket is and why it happens, let's go through what to do to prevent it. And number one is to follow your dentist's advice. Exactly. And that might sound obvious, but it's the number one reason why dry socket happens in the first place. So it's not because people don't care, but because they try to wing it or follow some TikTok advice instead of the person who actually saw their mouth up close. So your dentist might give you personalized advice based on how deep the socket is, how much bone was exposed, or how your body heals. So please trust that first. And number two is to rest and avoid pressure or exertion. So the first 48 to 72 hours are critical. So during that time, any increase in pressure from exercise, heavy lifting, or even bending can quickly disturb the blood clot. So please take that easy. No workouts, no running, no carrying furniture. Rest and keep your head elevated while sleeping to give your body a chance to heal. And number three is to rinse gently only when told to. And I would strongly suggest not rinsing in the first day. You might be tempted to clean the area, but the clot needs time to stabilize. After the first 24 hours, you can begin using gentle, warm salt water rinses. Not mouthwash, not chlorhexidine, and definitely no swishing hard. Just let the water roll around and fall out. So just like bathe it. Number four is to stick to soft, lukewarm foods. Now, hot food can increase blood flow and can dislodge the clot. Crunchy or sticky foods can physically disturb the clot and can get stuck in the socket. So for the first few days, think mashed potatoes, scrambled eggs, yogurt, soup, not too hot, smoothies without the straw. You don't need to starve yourself. Just give your mouth food it doesn't have to work for. And number five is to stay hydrated, but sip gently. So water helps your body heal, but how you drink it also matters. Never use a straw, not even a reusable one, because that suction force can, even for a second, can be enough to pull the clot out. Instead, take small sips from a glass or bottle and avoid gulping too fast. So now that you know what to do, let's go over what not to do, because this is where most dry socket cases actually start. And in my experience, most people don't get dry socket because of bad luck. They'll get it because of small avoidable things that seemed harmless at the time. And number one is don't smoke or vape at all. And this is the single biggest risk factor. And it's not because of the suction, although that definitely matters. It's because nicotine reduces blood flow and healing needs a good circulation. Even one cigarette or one puff from a vape can delay healing and increase your risk of dislodging that clot. So if you've been looking for a reason to stop smoking, this can be it. And number two is don't spit or swish aggressively. And this one surprises a lot of people. So swishing can create just as much pressure as using a straw. And if you need to rinse, do that very gently. Let the water fall out naturally. No forced spitting, no fast swishing, and definitely no water flossers near the socket. And number three is don't touch the socket even with your tongue. And I get it, it feels weird, you're curious, but the more you poke the area, the more likely you're going to irritate or loosen the clot. And your tongue is actually stronger than you think. Every time you push against that area, you increase the risk of starting over again. So treat that area like a healing wound, just leave it alone. And number four is don't eat anything crunchy, sticky, or spicy. So popcorn, chips, nuts, chewing gum, all of these are bad news in the first few days. Not only can they physically disturb the clot, but the pieces of food can get stuck and dislodged in the clot. And once food gets trapped, it becomes a breeding ground for bacteria, and that can lead to inflammation and pain. And avoid anything spicy or acidic. It can sting the tissues and slow things down. And number five, don't ignore signs that something feels wrong. So if the pain is getting worse instead of better, if you notice a bad taste or smell, or if you're just unsure, call your dentist because dry socket can be very treatable early on. You don't need to wait days hoping it feels better. So how long do you need to be careful for? Now, the highest risk for a dry socket is usually between the second and fifth day after an extraction. And also that's when the clot is the most fragile and when people start to feel a bit more relaxed with aftercare. So if you've made it to day 6 or 7 with no sharp pain, no bad taste or smell, and steady healing, then you've likely avoided dry socket and your body is doing exactly what it should. But even after that, it's still smart to be cautious because the gum tissue does take time to fully close over the bone. So keep rinsing gently, stick to soft foods until you're sure it feels right, and don't rush back to hard brushing or tough meals too soon. Now, if you're watching this video because you're already in pain or you're wondering if it's too late, I've made a full video that walks you through exactly how to tell if you have a dry socket and also what to do about it. You can watch this video right here. And thank you for watching.